Good morning, children. Today we are continuing the chapter Plant Kingdom. The end of the chapter comes with the angiosperms. Angiosperms. Angiosperms are called flowering plants. Because flower is the sex organ in angiosperms. Now, when we study details about angiosperm, there are many characteristic features. In angiosperm, you can see wide variety of plant groups. For example, we can say there are two plant groups, monocots and dicots. Monocots, dicots. The smallest flowering plant in the world is called Wolffia. And the tallest plant, smallest plant and the tallest angiosperm is Eucalyptus. So let's study about the monocot and dicots in some detail. Monocots, example, all types of grass plants. All types of grass plants. Dicot plants are more common, that you can see any plant that you see around us. Monocots are having the characteristic features with a fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. Whereas dicots, taproot system. Monocots, the leaf with a parallel venation, arrangement of veins parallelly, that is called the parallel venation. Venation, parallel. Parallel venation. Okay, so parallel venation, arrangement of veins on the leaf or lamina is called venation, parallel venation. Then we can say the third difference. You can see the flower is with three sepals or petals, three whorls. We can say trimerous condition, trimerous. So the monocots are with a fibrous root system and the dicots with the taproot system. Monocots, the leaves with the parallel venation and dicot with the reticulate venation. You know that, reticulate. The venation in the leaf, you can see reticulate with the veins and with branches and rebranches to form network like, that is called reticulated venation. Now the leaf, the flower contains three whorls, that is sepal or petal are three in number. That condition is called trimerous. And here most probably pentamerous, it means 5 petals. Now fourth difference, in monocot seeds are with only one cotyledon, one cotyledon. And dicots with two cotyledons. If you come to internal structure of the stem, in monocots, the vascular bundles are more unscattered. Vascular bundles are more. Inside the stem, if you take a cross section of the stem, the vascular bundles are more and they are scattered in the cortex or ground tissue, scattered in ground tissue of stem, ground tissue of stem. Here, in the case of dicot plants, vascular bundles are limited in number. 5, 6 or 7. Vascular bundles are limited in number. In the ground tissue or the cortex, number of vascular bundles. Vascular bundle is a bundle of xylem and phloem. You know that. Bundle of xylem and phloem together form vascular bundle. Such vascular bundles are more and scattered in the stem of this monocot, whereas in dicot their number is limited 5 to 7. That also arranged in the ring form. In the ring. They are scattered in the ground tissue. Here they are arranged in the ring form. So these are the 5 differences between monocot and the dicot. Now, flower is the sex organ. Let's now come to the flower. Everybody knows flower. If you see the flower, you can see different types of words. If you draw the structure of flower, you can see the different parts for the flower. And you know this is the pedicel. Pedicel is the stalk of the flower. Pedicel is the stalk of the flower. Then the pedicel moves upward and form the thalamus. This is the thalamus. Thalamus is also called the receptacle. Thalamus is also called the receptacle. On this thalamus, you can see sepal, colored petal. Sepal maybe 4, 5 or even 3. Then we call calyx. All the sepals together form calyx, and 3 or 4 or 5 petals together form corolla. All the petals together form corolla. Then you can see the male sex organ that is called stamen, S-T-A-M-E-N, stamen. All the stamen, maybe one or more stamen together form andrecium. That is the male sex organ. Andrecium is the male sex organ of the, and it consists of many stamens. Then pistil, gynoecium or carpel. Pistil, gynoecium, G-Y-N-O-E-C-I-U-M, gynoecium or carpel is the female sex organ. We usually say pistil. Pistil, gynoecium or carpel. Stamen consists of 2 parts, filament and anther. Filament is this, anther is this. So filament and anther together form stamen. All stamen together form the male sex organ that is andrecium. Then inside the flower you can see pistil or gynoecium or carpel. It has 3 parts, stigma. This is the style and this is the ovary. So 3 parts, stigma, style, ovary. Now let's draw the pistil or gynoecium separately. Pistil or gynoecium, as I said, 3 parts, stigma, style, ovary. Inside the ovary you can see the ovule. Inside the ovary there is ovule. Ovule is found inside the ovary. This is the ovule. Ovule has 2 or more covering. This covering is called the integument. I-N-T-E-G-U-M-E-N-T-S. Okay. Inside the integument, when the flower matures, you can see when the flower matures there is an embryo sac. Embryo sac. When the flower or when the pistil mature, you will see embryo sac. Embryo sac contains 3 staple cells. The opening of this is called micropyle. Near the micropyle you can see egg apparatus. 3 type of cells called egg apparatus. Egg apparatus consists of first one egg and 2 synergids. These are synergids, S-Y-N-E-R-G-I-D-S. and at the center there is egg. Now in the embryo sac at the center we can see diploid nucleus, polar nucleus. And here antipodals. So in short we can say mature, flower contain mature ovule, and the ovule contain embryo sac inside. Embryo sac has egg apparatus, consists of middle egg and two synergids. Egg is a female gamete. Here there is a central cell called polar nucleus. This is also called diploid secondary nucleus. Diploid secondary nucleus. And these are antipodal without much functions. Such a mature ovule has this structure. All these mature ovule. Now, during fertilization, the pollen grain, pollen grain produced in the anther. Anther, stamen contain filament and anther. This is the anther. Inside the anther, pollen grains are formed. Pollen grains or microspores. That pollen contain male gamete inside. That pollen pollinated on the stigma. The pollen grain now germinate and the pollen tube is formed. The pollen tube now carry two male gametes. Pollen tube now carry two male gametes. Now pollen tube enter into the ovule, that is called pollen entry, and the male gametes are discharged into the ovule. One of the male gametes fuses with the egg to form zygote. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg to form zygote. And second male gamete fuses with this polar nucleus to form primary endosperm nucleus. Primary endosperm nucleus. That is the endosperm. Primary endosperm nucleus. So after fertilization, we can see zygote is formed and primary endosperm nucleus. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg to form zygote. Second male gamete fuses with the polar nucleus to form primary endosperm nucleus. After this, the stigma and style wither off, then dry and fall off. Dry and fall off. Only ovary and this ovule remain. Ovary after fertilization become fruit, and after fertilization zygote is formed. Zygote become embryo. Embryo means tiny plant. Tiny plant. Primary endosperm nucleus become endosperm. Endosperm is the food for this embryo. Embryo get nourishment from endosperm. So by getting nourishment from endosperm, this embryo grow and grow. Meanwhile, the ovule turns to seed. After seed and fruit formation, we can see a fruit. Ovary turns to fruit. Inside the fruit, there is a seed. Seed contain embryo on one side. Embryo. Seed contain embryo. This is the seed. Actually, seed is from ovule. After fertilization, ovule become seed. Now this is the fruit. Fruit is formed from ovary. So this is what is the end of the fertilization in angiosperm. Now we are coming to the last part of this chapter, alternation of generation. Alternation of generation. Life cycle of angiosperm or any other plant contain two stages, gametophytes, monophytic stages, alternate to each other. Such a life cycle is called alternation of generation. Now, in this case, they are coming generally for all plants. There are three types of alternation or generation. There are haplondic generation, haplondic life cycle or haplondic alternation or generation. Second one is diplondic, diplontic, diplondic generation. And third one, haplodiplondic, haplodiplondic life cycle or alternation or generation. Haplondic life cycle, gametophyte is the dominant phase. Gametophyte is very important and dominant. Sporophyte, unimportant. That is dependent to gametophyte. Example, algae, fungi. Particularly algae, you can say. Algae are examples of haplondic life cycle. What is haplondic life cycle? In haplondic life cycle, gametophyte is the dominant phase, independent and photosynthetic. Sporophyte is formed on gametophyte, which is only very short phase. That is gametophytic. That is what is called haplondic generation or haplondic life cycle. So, second one is diplondic life cycle, where sporophyte is dominant stage. Sporophytic dominant. Sporophyte is the dominant stage in the life cycle. Here you can see gymnosperm and angiosperm. Gymnosperms and angiosperms, you can see diplondic life cycle. Gymnosperms and angiosperm. Here sporophyte is the major plant body and dominant plant body, photosynthetic, and on which the gametophytic stage, that is gamete producing stage, very short stage, is attached. So sporophyte is a major plant body and gametophyte is not so important. That is called a diplondic. Whereas in bryophytes and pteridophytes, both gametophyte haploid stage and diploid stage sporophyte are equally important. That we can see in bryophyte and pteridophyte. So life cycles are three types. Haplondic in algae, where gametophyte is the major plant body with the sporophyte in a short space. Then second, diplondic life cycle, sporophyte is major and predominant and dominant stage. Gymnosperm and angiosperm, haplodiplondic, both but is called gametophyte and sporophyte has equal importance. Bryophyte and pteridophytes. That's all. Thank you.